allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is November regular school board meeting. We'll call the meeting to order and take roll call.
Here. Bush.
Here.
Todd.
Here.
Harris.
Here.
Eisner. Johnston.
Here.
Sheldon.
Here. Eisner says she's running a little late, so we'll go ahead and get started. We do have a quorum. Okay, we'll start with recognitions.
First up is an award that several of you knew about right away on the first day kids were back. On the 30th of October, I went to Stevens Point and attended the Wisconsin Rural School Conference, where I received my award for middle school or superintendent of the year, administrator of the year. The beauty is they didn't spell mineral right. They threw the letter D in the word mineral. So I don't know, it's a little something extra to the trophy. This was a very nice honor to receive. And again, kind of represents everybody that works here in the district, is kind of the reason behind it. Next up.
Hey, super congrats.
Next up, some student recognition. I know we've got a couple of the students here. They at least come forward. Very prestigious awards: Wisconsin Music Association State Honors Project. Colette Dunn participated in the middle school honors band at the middle school. Josie participated, as it says here, for the 5th year in this program. She performed at the Overture Center. And Lily Singh, I believe this might be our first singer that has competed. No? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, see, old age makes a difference here. And then finally, Mrs. Ashley Calderon McHugh concluded her 2-year service as an instructor in this process. So a very, very impressive honor, girls, and congratulations representing Mineral Point at a tremendous event. So congratulations. That's quite right. Most people usually don't say anything, but thank you for being here and congratulations.
Real quick, what is a treble choir?
It's like an all-girl choir. Like there's no tenors or basses. All girls.
Thank you.
Thank you, girls.
Can't let them off the hook.
That's right.
We had some recognition for our football team. The seniors were recognized at the Wisconsin Football Coaches Association Academic All-State Honors. And then Grady Finley and Hudson Schroeder were honored individually for their academic progress. So Coach Mitchell's here. I don't know if Coach wants to talk about these seniors at all or not, but
Sure, all we did was study for tests.
keep up the good work, Coach. No, congratulations to our senior boys on an academic honor. Again, something that we really appreciate our student athletes being able to do. So congratulations. Next up, you can almost guarantee this time of year, with the pressure on the coaches and some of the athletes, state cross country. We have fantastic co-op program and wonderful athletes that compete and always do us proud. This year we had Johnny Robinson finishing 10th. Gabe Engel from Dodgeville finished 33rd on the boys' side. And then Peyton Christopher finished, as it says here, 85th. She qualified. The girls' team did not make it this year, but she qualified. Coach Hanson, would you like to say anything?
Sure. Yeah, we had three kids from our program qualify for the state meet out of the sectionals up in Wisconsin. Right? I think the same day you were over in Stevens Point. And Johnny, Gabe, and Peyton all qualified as individuals which is a difficult thing to do. But I think I'm here tonight because not only did they make it to the state meet, their performances at the state meet were probably the best races they had all year. If you compare courses and stuff like that, not all courses are the same. Obviously, some are hilly. The one up in Stevens or up in Wisconsin Rapids is very difficult. And Johnny ran such a good time this year that he was named All-State. And that's a prestigious award for cross country. And we've had a few of them at Dodge Point program. Most of their names end in Robinson. Congratulations to Johnny. That's fantastic.
Because all coaches are really prepared, he actually jumped ahead to my next slide, which is obviously Johnny Robinson being recognized as an all-state boys cross-country runner. So again, congratulations, Johnny. Recognitions.
Okay, we'll quickly move to the consent agenda. We've got minutes from the October 8th Policy Committee. We've got our regular October meeting minutes. We had a special meeting on October 27th to certify the levy. There was a joint Finance Personnel Committee meeting on November 3rd, and then the Policy Committee met on the 5th. We also have bills payable, credit card statement of activity. So I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda as a whole, or we can approve them individually.
I'll move to approve as a whole.
I'll second.
Bush and Skelding, do we have any comments, questions, discussion? No?
Bush,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Ister,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Gelding,
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we'll go to communications. We'll start with any communications received by any board members. Anyone want to start?
Glad to start, but I did not have anyone contact me directly throughout the course of this month that I'm recalling at the moment.
I had two parents just discuss the situation with pre-calc, or it was either pre-calc or calc, that their kids were struggling in the course. And I learned from one of them that it had been converted to a pass-fail class. So I think, we're acutely aware that it's difficult to hire a math teacher right now. So we hired basically for somebody for this semester, right? A long-term sub. So, so that might have resulted in some of this. So I think the switch to pass fail is helpful in the sense that kids, won't ding them on their GPA. And, we'll wait and see what the cards hold for us for a math teacher for the spring semester. So, but it wasn't really a complaint, but just that, their kids were struggling. And so, we'll do what we can to make this a good place to work and try to recruit the best math teacher we can find.
Did the parents have an opinion on the pass-fail decision, or was that after you heard from them?
Well, I think, so one of them, they're, was just making me aware of the situation. And then I learned in the second conversation that there was the pass fail option given, which was appreciated, given their kids' GPA and everything, and how a negative, not even a negative, but a lower grade than an A might affect that, and their hopes for scholarships or maybe being, high up in their class or whatever. So, yeah, but it is kind of what it is. And I know that I think Dodgeville and maybe Iowa Grant had open math positions for over years. So we've been, I guess, blessed to have people on staff, but we'll have to see how that goes.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing.
Okay.
I had a couple people ask for updates on situations we don't have updates for yet. So technically, those were conversations, but nothing to report.
Yeah, I had a conversation with one of the parents associated with the incident that happened at the middle school a few weeks ago, and also a separate kind of related family member over email. But those people have been connected with administration and Mr. Wainwright, and so those all got handled. Obviously, we'll be discussing the incident in closed session tonight. So that's all from me. Okay. Next will be any citizen communications. Okay, we have one person sign up. Alyssa, you here? Feel free to come on up here and kind of maybe stay by this table. Just introduce yourself and your 3 minutes.
Good evening, members of the board, administrators, and community members. I'm Jalissa Cassidy, and I'm here tonight as a concerned and heartbroken parent. My son was bullied here in the school by his own classmates, his own teammates in the school cafeteria. He was kicked when he was down, hit, tripped, and humiliated. In this video, he was on the ground 7 different times, sometimes laying there for nearly a minute. What was even harder to watch was his attempts to retreat. He walked to a table and laid his head down twice. He walked to a water fountain and they followed him. There were no staff members present during any of it. The only reason we know that this transpired is because the bullies themselves filmed it while taunting him and posted it online. When another student from a different district saw it and alerted us. I hope the school acknowledges this and appreciates this particular student and his courage. This speaks to a culture issue in this school, when many pointers were aware and did nothing. What's worse is realizing that this did not happen in isolation. Some of these students have been involved with bullying behaviors in the past. Some of these same students involved were caught mocking a bullying assembly with Officer Pepper just weeks after the incident with my child. That tells me that this isn't about just one bad day. It's about a culture that has been allowed to develop over time. A culture where bullying is minimized, where consequences are inconsistent, and where empathy is missing. A culture where staff can say the problem is too many people that have seen the video are talking, as if silence, not accountability, will make it go away. This mindset could be why this keeps happening. We need more than apologies, we need action. I'm asking the board to take immediate steps to, number 1, ensure constant adult supervision in common areas. We need cameras in the weight room. Number 2, hold every staff member accountable for student safety, no exceptions. Number 3, develop a procedure or protocol for police involvement when the police liaison is absent and physical violence takes place within these walls. Number 4, enforce real consequences for students who bully, especially those with repeated behaviors. Number 5, continue real support for these victims and for their families. Number 6, promote pro-social behaviors. We cannot fix what we refuse to face. Violence has happened because no one was watching. But how many years of looking the other way have led to this moment? I asked the board, what would you do if this was your son, your nephew? My son deserves better. Every child does. Please let this be a moment when the district chooses accountability over silence and safety over culture.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Yeah, come on, Jake. For 3 minutes. Or yours. For your time. Well, just want to be fair.
understand. I talked 3 weeks ago or so, I talked with Mitch. We had a good conversation. And all I asked at the end was, and it was very pleasant. All I asked at the end was, so are you going to expel the two main perpetrators? And Mitch said, well, no, we're not. And I asked why, and he said, well, the determination was made by the administrative staff. And I said, well, who's the administrative staff? And that's the middle school and high school principal and himself. And I said, well, could I talk to the school board and see if that would make a difference? Mitch said, you can talk to them, but it won't make a difference, because the only way the school board could do anything on this is if we brought it to them. Now, I thought that you were the governing part of the school district. I wasn't aware that you have no control over it. That disturbed me, that you can't make a ruling or overrule something that's going on. One of these perpetrators committed verbal actions last year, and it stopped after about 3 weeks or a month. This year, that perpetrator was kicking, hitting my grandson on the ground. This is a systemic actions that have continued to take place without anyone getting responsible. We had a detention, we had miss a game here or there. That's all it is. I think we need to be, the punishment should fit the crime. Even Mitch said there was a crime committed in the school. Punishment should fit the crime. I think that's only fair. Thank you.
Anyone online like to speak? You can use raise your hand icon. We'll call on you. Going once, going twice. Okay. We'll move on to items for information and discussion. First is a report from the social emotional learning team.
Angie Klein, come forward and report out.
So the appeal team put together this graphic for you. I think I'm gonna just start with, I think when I first looked at this, I thought, wow, we maybe don't have enough like actual action steps that we have in previous falls. But I think that's because when we reflected as a team, we just met on Friday morning as a team. So much of our time so far this fall has been making sure our families know about resources available to them in the community with the changes that are going on with the government shutdown and all the other things. So, for example, under that access part about food and basic resources, we've been spending a lot of time talking with community partners, building up our awareness of where food pantries are, what food resources are available, making sure our families are connected with any other benefits. It's kind of the prime season of, it seems, well, maybe not now because it's November, but like the holiday project lists are due October 22nd or something like that. There was I didn't put it on here, but like even when we're talking about changes, and Mitch might be able to help me explain, there was a change that came in the middle of October where a number of our families who have been directly certified for free and reduced lunch, that program changed, and all of a sudden these families were not eligible anymore. And so we've been working with them to get free and reduced applications submitted, working with them to help get access to our food service program and not build up bills. So I think a lot of things have been connecting our families with these resources that need to be available to them at this kind of uncertain time for them. And that really has been a large part of our first quarter. Obviously, like the universal, SEL curriculum is being still taught at the elementary school. We have screening done in fourth grade. We have small groups going on with both our school psychologist and our counselor at the elementary school. But when we were reflecting, and even a lot of Friday was spent helping ensure what are the things that we need to do for some of our specific families and just all of our families in general. And I think that's just kind of where we're at right now with the things going on. So I guess questions, obviously sources of strength is going on. I know I saw today that there's a middle school activity coming up here very soon. Mr. Austin and Miss Brunson just put on a very successful career fair last week, and kind of connecting with community partners that way. The one other thing I was going to highlight under this awareness. So one of the grants we've been fortunate to get the last couple of years has to do with our McKinney-Vento students identified as experiencing homelessness. And we're going to be doing a community action project to raise awareness within the community about the numbers of families that are homeless in our community, that what does it mean to be homeless? What does it mean if you're experiencing homelessness? So we just submitted the permit application today with the city administrator, and there will be a visual display at Water Tower Park with some informational sheets. November is Homeless Awareness Month. So we usually highlight some stuff for our staff, but we're going to try and build some community recognition. So please watch for that, participate in that as that comes up. But we're hoping to get that up either at the end of this month or beginning of December, whenever the city approves the plan for us. So, and that's one of our action steps through our grant this year. Questions?
Any questions for Angie?
I do have a question about how, like, with sources of strength, I know we talked last year about like staff support and how like, calibrating around belonging with that. Given the changes, there's obviously a lot of immediate needs that families and kids have. But I'm curious if anything has changed or shifted in terms of.
So we actually our PD welcome back day actually was kind of an in-service for our staff, beginning with Miss Rob just giving kind of an overview of sources. 2 of our high school peer leaders came and spoke district-wide to all of our staff, and then that led into kind of like the high leverage practices for supporting students and student belonging that we kind of, and then I led that component of that. So just making sure our staff, those high leverage practices about how do you build relationships with students and families, and just I kind of told our staff at the time, like, this isn't rocket science, right? It's not anything that's super out of the box or way that you probably don't know to start our staff. So that was how we kind of started our staff in service this year, was just coming back to, this is why we do sources, this is what we're looking for, and this is how you can help support it.
Yes. Do we feel like we let that we know who needs assistance during the holidays and for meals and
so we do. So there is a application type form that is pushed out by Joelle for us. We also follow that up with comparing it to previous years or other families that we know are supported in different ways. So we don't just go by, oh, the parent didn't fill it out. We do personal contact after that. I believe there's a step in there where teachers can also have some input that we compare. But I think they work really, really hard at making sure all of our students are connected with something for that. Okay. The one change, one of our programs that supported the community with food resources, Ethan Shining Light, is no longer doing a meal at the holiday time, which will be, I think last year they gave out 25 meals or something like that. So, there might be something that we want to do to kind of replace that for some of our families, or if there's other things going on, I know, but they do work really hard. So parents can identify themselves. We reach out to parents, teachers can refer, and we'll follow up with the parents, and everybody who's on that list gets a personal connection by one of the people services to like clarify that this is what you submitted or are you interested in submitting and what do you need it for? So it goes anything from like support with basic needs, with food, with shelter, with holiday gifts. There's a bunch of kind of categories that they can self-identify for.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
I guess any actions or initiatives as a result of the middle school subject we just heard about? Or is that for closed session?
I guess I don't want to speak on, outside of these things, but
Thank you.
yep.
Okay, next we'll go to school board election timeline.
So the deadline for any incumbent to file non-candidacy paperwork is December 26th. If our incumbents wish to file the paperwork, they don't have to wait till that last minute at the last hour on the last day. They can certainly come in and fill out the paperwork to run again. If anyone in the community is interested in running, the deadline for filing is January 6th at 5 p.m. So anyone that's an incumbent that is considering not running would need to notify the district office by the 26th of December, 5 p.m. And anyone in the community interested in running has till 5 p.m. on January 6th.
If a incumbent does not notify by the 26th, does that default them into a yes, I'm running again? Or is there paperwork they need to file?
It's the
Me too, okay.
paperwork that has to be filed.
Who's up?
Andy and Joni are the two seats that are up for election this year.
Cool.
Assuming you're probably not working on the 26th.
Please don't wait till the 26th. School board convention. School board convention runs the 21st through the 23rd, January. Hopefully you've had a chance to check your calendars and get in touch with Angie to get you registered for the convention and get hotel rooms lined up. I can imagine there'll probably be a lot of sessions around AI this year with it being such a driving force throughout a lot of education. So kind of had a chance, I looked through some of the descriptions. I had a chance to look through all of them in detail, but looks like quite a few good sessions that might be available again this year for the school board convention.
Work, the way WASB wanted it to work.
Oh, really?
No. So what happened was the WASB website went down. And they ended up sending out the link to go ahead and reserve the room. So I did that. No reason to get you registered until the deadline of December 15th. So go ahead and let me know at that time. Interest going. I will keep monitoring the availability of rooms because I think we're back in the same situation. It's always been people booked extra rooms and they decide they don't need them. So we can, just like a rock concert, we'll look closer to the date and see that for right now. Much outlying hotels that are available.
I see.
Availability. And they have shuttles at those outlying hotels.
Okay.
Shuttle bid is doable.
And you got my message that I'm not going this year. Okay.
Thinking it, just let me know.
I am not.
Still a chance.
Okay, moving on.
Budget comparisons year over year. For our Fund 10 expenditures through the month of October 24, we had spent 27% of our budget. This year, we've spent 20% of our budget. And are keeping a little bit better eye on some of the expenditures through the beginning part of the year. And then this month, we put in the Fund 50, the food service accounts. And if you look, a year ago was 25.7%. This year, 25.8%. So basically tracking right on, which I'm really happy to see because that's not a big fluctuation. I mean, we need to order the food for the students and make sure that we're serving the meals or whatever, and our revenues are coming in off of those meals, but the expenditures are tracking very similar year over year, which is a good sign.
Any impending concerns about the shutdown affecting commodities or reimbursement for free and reduced lunch?
Timmy shared with me November commodities will be coming through as planned. Hopefully with a reopening, maybe we won't have to worry about December. But right now we haven't heard anything there.
What's the worst case scenario? That the commodities won't be available or that the prices will be much higher?
The commodities wouldn't be available for us to purchase, so we would have to go look for similar items at the best price we can find. To Angie's point, there is a grant for students for the driver's education. I think last year it shut down in 7 days because so many people applied. This year it shut down in 48 hours. We had 2 students that no longer qualified for that free grant due to the fact that they changed the dollar amount that qualifies for free and reduced lunch. So basically, if they say it's 2.5 times the federal poverty rate, they've lowered that number. So in other words, instead of making the number lower to qualify, that number got pushed up higher. So then less families qualify.
Best explanation we could get, Danielle, we're not 100% sure why the direct certification stuff changed, but from what Danielle can understand, from what she's being told, it's something about like COVID dollars somewhere had been extended over time and those finally went away. So that changed a number of the families who were qualifying through direct certification. And so now they actually have to physically fill out the form. But we couldn't tell if it was like a program within COVID dollars or if they had rate or lowered that income level or something related to COVID dollars. Either way, there were a number of families impacted.
Other than that change, if a family were to qualify for free or reduced lunch, that follows them through the year and then within the first 30 days of the next school year. So yeah, to Angie's point, that's right. I did hear them referring to some of the COVID monies no longer being, that support level no longer being.
COVID benefit that had been lingering finally went away. We don't know what it was for sure.
Questions, comments about the budget comparison, food budget? Okay, we'll move to committee reports. First, we had a joint finance personnel committee meeting, chairs Skelding, Bush. Do you guys want to?
Can I throw in here?
Summary?
We'd like, the building principals came to that meeting and kind of gave a report out. And I'd just like to have them come forward at this time to just kind of talk about a couple of the highlights from their reports. We could start with the elementary school principal.
I took out 3 high points I thought of the meeting that we had. One was that 55% of students scored at or above the 50th percentile in math for the fall diagnostics, and 68% of students scored at or above the 50th percentile for the reading. Okay, and then what we want to do by the end of this year, our goal, a little lofty, as I said before, but we want 80% of students to be at grade level mathematics by scoring at or above the 50th percentile by the end of the year with district approved summative math assessments. And that progress will be measured by baseline data from this fall and ongoing benchmark assessments and aligned classroom performance tasks throughout the years. Questions?
28, after our meeting, just kind of reflecting on something that came up, is that I think my very first meeting as a school board member, we approved the reading curriculum for the elementary school, which is 4 years ago. And my impression is that it hasn't caught on very well, not working very well. I think we invested $180,000 in that, which is something. But I guess maybe like at a future meeting, if we could talk about that, that would be helpful at
I will tell you about the reading programs.
Personnel.
They're
Yeah.
scientifically based, a lot of them. And so the readings that they do are really very difficult. They're more scientifically based, so they're hard for kids.
Yeah.
And there's two main programs. We have we chose a benchmark, and there's another one, and it's what we used in Shellsburg, and they're the same.
Yeah.
They're very difficult. But we do supplement with phonics programs, and we do the AI phonics. So we are supplementing with that benchmark.
Right. Well, I personally, I don't mind investing in something that kids like, not to make it easy, but just that kids enjoy, so they want to read and that they're doing it. So you've got a ton of experience, and I guess just think about it and
Yeah, definitely.
come back to us if this just isn't working and we're not getting buy-in from teachers and staff and whatever, like, let's have a discussion around that.
Forgive me if I missed it. You said that the math grade level was 55% and your goal was 80. What was the reading?
68.
And did you want to have a goal for the?
We just wanted to concentrate on one. They did reading last year,
Okay,
so I wanted to take math this year.
got it. Okay.
Thank you.
Tony.
Thanks, Tony.
I took the action for personnel committee to talk through that.
Okay. Yep.
Yes.
You were thinking, if not, I apologize. So at our meeting last week, I was asked to do a comparison between the fall data from last year to the fall data this year. I put up on the top just the class that it falls for. So a couple highlights. I know you have all of that to kind of look through. But a couple highlights that I want to point out is that currently this fall, we always try to aim for 60% of our kids are at or above benchmark. And of all three grade levels for reading and math, we are at 5 of the 6 of those tests are either at or quite a bit above at 60%. So our goal is to kind of keep them there, figure out what we need to do to keep moving them forward throughout the year. That was one highlight to point out. The other one is I mentioned empowering teachers to teach other teachers so that we can take our lowest standards that Common Lit has showed us that these should be our targeted standards of class 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And so these teachers are teaching others across the curriculum how to use those skills in their classroom. So everybody is picking an article each semester that focuses on the current skill. And so our hope is that by using these skills, having teachers understand what the skills look like, one, it gives teachers another way to reinforce them in their own classrooms, but also another way to respond to the article that they're using. And in all, we're heading towards the same goal of it, improving those standards.
Like articles that they're doing in PLC together, or what do you mean choosing an article?
Yeah, so each teacher, PLTW teacher, art, they brought an article that they wanted to do with their 6th, 7th, and 8th graders that related to their content area. And then our teachers were teaching, this is what it would look like to pick an article and have a claim, evidence, and reasoning to go along with theirs.
Okay.
So this semester is really focusing on the evidence that kids are pulling out. So our teachers, our ELA teachers were showing that this would be a strong claim or a strong piece of evidence. This would be kind of in the middle, and this would be one that we really need to kind of try to improve on. So we tried to let them not just choose something from Common Lit, but something that is completely relevant to what they're teaching, so it's not forced and it can just be natural, because our hope is that if it does feel natural, it'll be something that they'll build into their curriculum.
kind of goes back to if you're not in English class, does spelling matter? You know, you're going to write a response to this, does spelling matter? You know, does spelling count? And say, well, yes, it's spelling counts. It's not just because it's not English. So these articles, it's just not in reading class. It's a content area that they can work on that same skill in that content area. So they're still learning, not having to pause that and stuff.
You'll notice there's one different graph. I tried to go back into 5th grade STAR and it doesn't pull up that STAR. So I had to pull it from EduClimber instead.
We worked on it really hard.
We did try. I pulled Angie in for support.
I did get to come out of national how to make graphs, but we decided just to go with it.
You did.
My question is the numbers between 5th and 6th grade, because the at and above,
We
they both went down.
We did. We talked about that.
Is it using the same benchmarks?
It is.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
What do you think?
So, well, am I just wondering, like looking at that? I actually was really glad that you suggested doing this because we look at students individually for their historical data, but not always as a class. So I thought this was very interesting, especially if you look at the math. And so I just I am also curious to see what it is. And my intention was Friday, but Friday got busy, always does. I wanted to see what their spring scores was, just to see were they on a downward trajectory, kind of where they were in that spring. So I did not pull that one up.
Okay, but it's on your radar and
It definitely is.
investigating it.
Definitely
Okay.
is.
You're talking about 6th grade?
Yeah, the 5th to 6th at and above benchmark.
But is it at or above, for 5th grade? Maybe it's at or above and it includes on watch?
That was my question. It seems like the answer's not.
Didn't have
Is there-
it on watch. It was just strictly
Right.
at or above, and then
Right,
those were the only two.
right. So I'm just wondering though,
Yes.
that maybe some of those are included, right?
Yep.
Because it's such a big discrepancy. It doesn't make sense when you compare it to the other classes.
I wish I had that start data. The only
Right.
reason I could pull ours,
Right.
I had those last year.
Well, I would go with that, just shooting from the hip, and we'll just look at it in the spring.
It was just something to keep an eye on.
Right.
Just curious.
Right.
The group is doing really well.
Right.
Behavior's been great. So just really trying to keep doing what our curriculum is out there to do.
I think this just shows too, from a governance perspective, how helpful it is to do things at committee. And then the very next week, we can have answers to questions that sometimes we forget about a month later, you know, when we ask something in committee. So I really like the idea of having the principals come 1 week and then we can ask questions and get then feedback,
I
and
absolutely love that.
just kind of a better setup, right?
I appreciate that. One of you had asked, and just off the top of my mind, last week I didn't have an answer for you, but you had asked why all the numbers weren't adding up to be 100.
Oh, yeah.
So I played with some of those, and it was because it's the students. So there would maybe be 38 students out of 62, and nothing was always even. So it would round it. So that's kind of why we have some are 100, some are 101, some are 99.
I see.
Thank you. I like the comparison.
Thank you for the idea. You also let me know when we get to winter, what would be the most helpful to see that.
Okay. Couple highlights. First thing, advisory changes, have gone really, really well. And actually are, compared to last year at this time for the first quarter, this year we are a little bit less than half of the kids. So we had an F last year. We actually have a very small number. I think it's 2 this year that have failed a course in the first quarter. And so obviously working with them to still try and fix that. But last year, I think at this time it was about 6 kids. So that numbers came down, but we're getting ahead of it with that advisory and scheduling those kids out. That's been going very well. Still tweaking things with that, but it actually seems to be really working with that advisory change and being able to track that attendance and making sure kids get to where they need to and get help right away versus trying to be a little more reactive, trying to be proactive. So that's one of the big highlights that we've had so far. With the involvement, I am working on that data for you. I have a note here. They just took the survey last week at the career fair. So that kind of outlines everything that they're in. We've got about 30 or 40 kids between they were either helping or they were gone on a different field trip that have to take that survey yet. So once I get those numbers, I'll share that out with you as far as how many aren't in anything was a question, and then what's one, what's two, just to get that shared out with you. The other thing we're doing really well on are these point forward activities. It's a continuation of last year where we're doing the social emotional learning, readiness skills. And those are twice a month. That is going really well this year. Our next activity is next Monday. And November, we're actually working on conflict resolution. So kind of working with Erica on that and what that looks like, but that'll be kind of a extended lesson. Most times they're like one Monday, there's a little bit of follow-up. This will be more of a 2 Monday series conflict resolution type of thing. So working on that though, that's our November one. So going really well though. Been a really good year. Career fair was fantastic last week. A lot of good feedback from the kids. So really, really cool.
Just a follow-up.
Yeah.
And we talked about this last year a little bit, but when we dig into those students at zero, we still do a check-in to make sure that all of
I'm
those
gonna check in with them to see.
have something or
Yeah.
somebody
Yep.
or either something afterwards that
And so
Is
if we
a
go
job or-
based on Skyward, which is what the Measures That Matters report card is on, some of those aren't tracked where actually within this survey, you get a truer thing because they can write in the other box, hey, I'm in this, or hey, I'm doing this. So we get a little truer answer, but I will still follow up with them, with those kids that
thank you.
didn't list anything. I'm sure that they're in something, they just like, oh, yeah.
Or at least have somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think you owe us, we wanted to report on at least one. So instead of just they're
Yes.
in two, we want to know.
Yep,
that
I
they
will
have
get
at
you
least one.
2, 1, and if they're in nothing,
Right.
and follow that up with those
Okay,
kids. Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else from personnel chair, finance chair?
Thanks again for coming so prepared last week. Appreciate it.
Right, nothing for policy chair. We're going right into the policy readings right now. Unless you want to summarize anything or,
No, we're working through all of them. Slowly but surely.
First reading.
Yes.
just to remind people that are watching, we asked for an audit of all of our policies. We got a report of all the revisions that are recommended of all our entire policy handbook and in order of priority, and now we're kind of in low to medium priority range.
From WASB, yeah.
Yeah,
There are different sources to get policy.
yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll go to first reading of policies that are being updated from the recent meeting.
We're gonna start going through and talking about changes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the first one, policy 522.3, staff misconduct reporting to DPI. We had to add a state statute into our policy in order to update it. That was the recommendation from the WASB audit, and so that's what we did. Policy 532.41, family and medical leave. We added, are you going to adopt sample policy 1? It had some thorough definitions, expectations, laws were more defined, and then we named Mitch and Angie as the people to.
Wrong, Angie.
Not you, Angie, other Angie.
Not specifically.
Right, district administrator and administrative assistant.
And making sure that they were aligned with what you are already doing. We added in 532.42, which was uniform service leave. It's in our handbook, but we also wanted it to be a policy.
That's brand new edit.
Correct. 533.3, hiring retirees. We just needed to update it to 31 days after retirement to hiring at 75 days after retirement. 620 was the annual operating budget. We had Danielle look at it. We just adjusted the days to match the state law. And that was a really easy fix, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. 620 or 651 was revenues from local sources. Also, as Danielle checked that out, we are in compliance. We just need to change the name of the system that we use in our policy. And then 662.3 was fund balance. We had Danielle look at it. She was recommending sample policy 4. It's the closest to what she follows for procedure, matches what she does. And we just needed to update the references.
We added a piece on trying to maintain at least a 15% fund balance.
Yes.
That's in our current policy. We felt it was important to maintain that in policy.
Yeah.
Questions?
So also under the cross references, having numbers. WASB has the numbering system versus our numbering system.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible that we had a policy in place prior to WASB having a policy.
That would make sense.
So again, some of these sources didn't originate from WASB. So we wanted to align with WASB. So we changed the number and it's cross-referenced at a previous policy known as, for instance, under 662, it was previously 6.
Got it.
Okay, any other questions, comments about these first readings? Okay, thanks, Christy. We'll go into action agenda and go through the second readings of policies.
These policies came forward last month, 345.62 graduation exercises. Remember, this one was to allow anybody that was on the board to be able to be a part of the ceremony and award a diploma. 347 student records. 443.3 student alcohol and drug use. That one we had to make sure we added one of the breathalyzer. And then 454 reporting child abuse and neglect. We go through the mandatory trainings as a mandatory reporter, and then any updates, any changes, staff are made aware through district office, some capacity.
I'll take a motion to approve these policies as a whole, or we could approve them individually.
So moved.
And seconded.
Motions to approve them as a whole.
Yes.
Okay. There's Heisner. Any comments, questions, discussion of these policies? You can call the question.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next is request to approve the high school band trip to Florida over spring break.
Yes, the band will be leaving on the 25th of March and returning on the 31st of March. So they'll actually be leaving on the Wednesday before spring break. So they'll miss the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the rest of the trip will be over the spring break. They'll be back the following Wednesday. This is a trip they take every 4 years, raise their funds through different activities. Trip they've taken many times over.
We just have to approve because it's interstate.
Interstate and overnight.
Right.
Motion to approve the trip.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Skelding. Question, Mitch. Not a huge fan that they're missing school, and it's not directly overlapping spring break. Do you have a good explanation for that?
I do not. I don't know if Mr. Austin had a chance to talk to Mr. Never. Sometimes it depends on, like, they will compete, so it all depends sometimes on when that competition takes place as well.
This year, we're trying to push it back closer to that spring break. This year, because of where Easter falls, at that spring break, they have to get back. They leave and they're back that following
Wednesday.
They're back in time. But typically Easter is off of it. They don't have a gradient.
Okay.
That's typically, they've scheduled the times before. So, working on to wind up better with spring breaks. So we're not missing.
Okay.
I think the last one, they missed most of it was Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
Choir was the thing.
I've been trying to get them back over spring.
It just seems odd that,
We'll make note.
there's probably a good reason, but I just don't know what it is. Okay.
A lot of it's kind of scheduled.
Every 4 years, not a huge deal, but you
No,
know,
but some of these kids are active in a lot of things and they
Right.
start to miss a lot of school.
And the spring is probably the worst. You know, anybody that's involved in any kind of a spring thing, softball, student government, track, baseball, golf, students are gone an awful lot in the spring of the year. So having this happen and miss some days in the spring of the year is, like you said, every 4 years, but
It's
learning too.
it is.
sand, it's
Exactly.
fire, it's-
Yeah.
they all
Great
add up.
experience for sure.
But to call it out and say like, hey, we would like to get them closer to alignment is ideal.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Agreed.
This year I do know it was more because of falling during that time, trying to make sure they were back.
Okay. Any other discussion, questions?
Was those supervised?
They're chaperones.
There's plenty of chaperones that go on the trip. Parent chaperones, school member chaperones.
And
Committed chaperone.
Committed, they're riding on the bus with the kids from Wisconsin to Florida.
And no Tylenol or ibuprofen. Just gotta cut it out.
Will say, and I don't know, it's not relevant to approval, but I read the permission slip for the bus and it specifically calls out that there are no water guns or water balloons allowed on the bus. And I am very curious what happened on a previous bus trip that they had to specifically call that out.
Now what else will show up because they're specifically not allowing those two things?
Any other discussion on this approval? Okay, call question. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear the first part you said. I thought you said the trip's not gonna happen because there's no money. I'm like, really? Then you didn't say that.
Oh, they got plenty of money. They got plenty of.
Yeah, okay. So voice vote, okay. All right, all in favor of this, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Next is approving the choral trip to Iowa.
Correct. This is a Sunday and Monday, so they'll miss one day. It's in Decorah, Iowa. Typically,
Dorian.
sorry, thank you, Dorian Musicals.
At Luther College.
Thank you. Typically, it's on average between 2 to 5 students. They have to be nominated. It's a junior, senior. Ashley has assured me that they'll never take more than 9 because that's all the van holds. So it would be one chaperone, Ashley, and the choir students. Again, it's an overnight in Iowa. Great opportunity for any of our student singers. So
Motion to approve.
So moved.
second,
Any comments, questions?
no choice on when this one happens.
Do we do this one? Is this every year?
Yes, they typically go every year.
You do a voice vote on this, Jimmy? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes.
This one will need a roll call. If you remember, we took on the Science Lab project and we were hoping to maybe find some donations, contributions. We were able to get something from Cummins Emissions. Due to the timing, the project was ongoing. Cummins approved it, and when they awarded it, basically the project was already over. We were just going to transfer the money into Fund 46 that they had committed to the Science Lab project. Our auditor had informed us that that's not the right steps to take, that you need to accept the money, record it into Fund 10, and then, as you've done in previous years, if there's Fund 10 monies available, we've transferred it to Fund 46. Instead of waiting, we can transfer that any time. And because this money was for that project, we're recommending that you make this transfer of $22,000 to Fund 46 from this donation from Cummins Emissions.
I'll make the motion to do so and also just say thank you to Cummins for their long-term support of our schools.
Part of a bigger contribution, but very much appreciated.
I'll second.
Harris Bush, any other discussion? Just, Mr. Austin, you went to Cummins to request
They
donation,
reached
correct?
out about some stuff and then I filled out all the paperwork for it, yes.
Okay,
Yep.
thanks for doing that.
One of the few grants I heard back from when I was reaching out to all these places, like, yeah, this doesn't happen. I'm like, what do you mean? Get on the website. Like, no, this is now this and this. So there was a couple other big ones that I tried to reach out to and apply for. We didn't hear anything back. But just trying to find some way to support that, which Cummins was very generous of them. So
Appreciate the effort.
yeah.
Okay, any other discussion? Angie, call the question?
Harris.
Yes.
Eisner.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Gelding.
Yes.
Bergstrom. Yes. Bush.
Yes.
Stein.
Yes. Okay, next is board business. Just a reminder, our next meeting with staff reps will be December 15th. And that we don't have a strategic planning follow-up meeting yet. We're still working on doing like a survey of staff on use of AI in the district. So once we have that completed, we'll schedule a follow-up meeting to review it and kind of hone our, strategic vision on that issue at that point.
Will that meeting be a 6 o'clock meeting
Yes.
and,
Staff rep meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
and located here?
Yeah.
Okay. It was about this time we went to options last year, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah. Also, I mean, it's after all this closed session, but just for viewership, your next board meeting is at 5 PM in December. It's the 8th of December. And it will start at 5 o'clock in here
For the holiday concert.
because of the holiday concert.
Committee meetings the week before.
Yeah.
First and third.
Oh, yeah, let Mitch and Angie know what your agenda would be or whether you're gonna have a meeting.
So for the staff rep meeting, are they owning the agenda?
Yeah, we have a running list of things that we'll share with them. First, we'll get from the board at personnel committee, assuming we have a meeting in early December. There are key topics we want to hear about. We also have a list on that agenda will also be a list of follow-up so that we can speak to all the decisions, like the comments that they made in the past, the decisions we've made, so that they can see those over time. Then we'll also send out a call for other agenda items so that at least 2 weeks, like the staff reps have time to talk to their colleagues before they respond. And then we can still get an agenda to them a week early.
Thanks. Rachel.
Okay, next is employee services. We had a placeholder here to approve a middle school instructional assistant, but we do not have a candidate, correct?
Correct. We want to table this until next month.
Okay, I'll take a motion to table this until the December regular meeting.
Moves.
Second.
Here's Skelly. Okay. We voice vote that one? Okay. All in favor of tabling this, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. We'll conclude this meeting by going into closed session. We're going to talk about the incident that happened at the middle school. Let's,
Just read the language.
okay. And state statute allows us to go to closed session to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of any public employee. Considering financial, medical, social, or personal histories or disciplinary data of specific persons, except where, if discussed in public, would be likely to have substantial adverse effect upon the reputation of any person referred to in such histories or data or involved in such problems or investigations. That will be the subject of the closed session. Correct. I will take a motion to go into closed session for this purpose.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Justin Heisner. You have a question?
Johnson,
Yes.
Gilpin,
Yes.
Georgetown,
Yes.
Bush,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Eisner.
Yes.
Dunn.
Yes.